Hey, let's check in. Congresswoman Yvette Herrell joins us. Good morning, Congresswoman. Let's see, did I hit the right buttons there? Oh, I forgot to hit a button there. I have a new board in here, Congresswoman, and I forgot to hit a button, so we can all hear you now. Good morning.
Well, good morning. How are you?
Oh, I don't know. It's Monday.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it is.
So are you in the district today, or are you still in District of Columbia today?
I'm in District of Columbia today. I was in the district the last few days, and I flew back last night.
So getting ready for an exciting week of all the excitement in town over the president testing positive for COVID. And I kind of chuckled the day that they announced it and the doctors were giving their press conference, and somebody from the media asked about contact tracing, and their initial response was, well, that's not important right now. And I thought, wait a minute.
But it was all of us, wasn't it? Weren't
Yes.
we having to write our numbers and put who we were with? And yeah, it's such a double standard, of course.
Yeah, but we hope the president's doing well. Sounds like he's doing better, and so we can get back to things. So, well, when you're back, one other thing I'll let you know, county fairs are starting to get rolling in the area. The Eddy County Fair is this week. I know Lee County and Chaves County and others. Do you have any fond memories of county fairs? Were you a county fair participant?
Yes, all of them, because from a very young age, we participated in 4-H. So we'd have our little scrapbooks or our sewing projects or our art projects. And then as I got a little older and did FFA, then, of course, it went to livestock. So we showed lambs and pigs and steers. And so it's always a great time for the kids. And it's just always a good time to be at a fair because you get to see so many people that you haven't seen in a while. And especially now with all this craziness that's been happening with COVID and everything. So it'll be, I think, really great to be able to come and see everybody, because didn't they do a lot of video stock shows last year and not in person? Wasn't that what was happening a little bit last time?
Year before last, in at least in Eddy County, because I had to get my special wristband to get special permission to be allowed in because I was the video guy.
Because they didn't want it to be a super spreader.
Yeah.
So only a few people.
So
yeah, but it'll be fun, and I'll definitely be attending some of the fairs. I don't know which ones. Obviously this week is our last week in session before we get out for a very long recess. We'll be out the entire month of August, and actually until just after the Labor Day weekend, which is a long time to be out, but for me it's fantastic because I'll just be everywhere in the district. We'll be really hitting the campaign trail hard, but we also have a lot of activities planned, some official visits and some roundtables, and so we'll just be very busy. But the good news is when we're not here, I think it's safer for America in terms of bad policies getting passed. So there is a little reprieve there with that. And then we'll come back after Labor Day for the month of September, and then we're out again for the month of October. It's Nancy Pelosi sets the schedule, so she's clearly wanting to make sure all of her caucus has enough time to be campaigning. So that seems to be the more important issue for her right now, which is good because what our goal is to retire Nancy Pelosi in November.
Well, that way she doesn't have to worry about answering any tough questions about her husband's stock trades if she's not in Congress,
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, Congresswoman Herrell. The Supreme Court overturns Roe v. Wade, and it seems like the House, especially over the last few weeks, has just been ramming all of these related bills, trying to codify some of this stuff. What has come through the Congress, and what's still to come this week on that particular issue?
Yeah, those bills, so you're absolutely right. And it's just crazy because instead of saying, okay, the Supreme Court, for instance, on the Roe v. Wade, the Dobbs, they overturned that. All that did, and just reiterating here, but all that did was give the state legislatures, the ability to make the laws for their individual states. It didn't change anything in New Mexico because we already have laws on the books. But it's as if they're just so wanting to placate to such a small group. So instead of just agreeing with what the Supreme Court, the law of the land, said, they come with these crazy, and these are extreme abortion bills. 2 of them passed last week one with 3 Republicans, the other straight party line. But these bills actually put us on the same playing field as North Korea, China, and now if they get through the Senate and the president signs them, the United States, it undermines everything the states have done. It's abortion up to birth. And really the one that's really scary to me is it's one that undermines parental rights, but also allows people, even if it's not your child, you can take a minor across state lines for an abortion. And this now just opens up the door for sex trafficking, human trafficking, all of these things. And if you're, say, a social worker or a nurse in a hospital or a teacher even, or somebody who kind of thinks, this isn't right, this may be a sex trafficking situation or a human, smuggling situation, if you report it, the person who reports it could potentially be held liable for hindering the swift access to an abortion. I mean, we have lost our moral compass so far that it makes zero sense to me. So these bills are very frightening and very extreme. But same thing with the marriage bill. That passed the House on a party line vote, and it's just extreme. It is truly an attack on traditional marriage, but also within that bill was access to abortion and pronoun changes, and it just undermines, the nuclear family as we know it. And it's just so sad that here we have the record high inflation, highest gas prices in my lifetime, a wide open border. We have shelves that still don't have baby formula. We don't have a workforce. We have a supply chain issue. We're not getting the chips from China to get our farmers and some of our industries back to work and back to production. And these are the bills they're pushing. It makes zero sense. Why aren't we focusing on getting costs down for the American families? Why aren't we doing something to enhance workforce for our businesses that are so hurting right now? Because it's across the board, every industry, every town. I met with several constituents this weekend, and the business owners all say the same things. They just can't find a workforce, and when they do, they're having to pay them way more than what their even experience level is just to get them in the door. And then a lot of times they won't even show up, or they'll take the job for a couple of days and then go grab unemployment. It really makes no sense. We need to be thinking about how we can really protect our small businesses.
Well, absolutely. And the other thing, too, about some of the bills that you mentioned that have been passed by the House, it seems like the Congress of the United States, the House of Representatives of the United States, has taken upon itself to decide that parents have no say-so or authority at all whatsoever over their children. And you see this from some of the teachers' union things across the country, and then some of the things you talked about when it comes, whether it's transgender or abortion rights. It's if a kid decides that they want to make some kind of change or have some kind of surgery, the parent is not allowed to know anything about that. And I don't know about you, but I think that's wrong.
Oh, it's terribly wrong. And in fact, we have some amazing instructors, amazing teachers in New Mexico. Let's give them the opportunity to teach, reading, writing, arithmetic, real history, and these things. And let's let the families, the parents teach values. Let's let the families, the parents, have the opportunity to raise their children with their traditions and in their culture and in their values. And, this is all just scooting the whole parental unit away from, like you just said, from raising the kids. And back to those bills, just really quick, something I want to point out. Nancy Pelosi runs the show. She picks what bills get to the floor. She drives the train. And here's the sad thing. None of those 3 bills we just talked about, the 2 extreme abortion bills, nor the marriage bill, none of those bills went through a committee hearing. None of them had any kind of input from either side of the aisle. These are just bills that they came up with. She took them to the floor. That's not governance. That's not what the American people deserve. That is not transparent. That is not giving people the opportunity to even see what Congress is doing. They hear about it after the fact, and that is such a shame to me. But this is why it's so important that we retire Nancy Pelosi, because she has complete control over the schedule, over the bills that hit the floor. This is their agenda, and it's not fair to the American people. And certainly most of these bills lately that they've been pushing are hurting either law-abiding citizens or our kids.
One of the things I know that's issue that's important to you is the border security. What did you think when you read or heard that our the Homeland Security Secretary said that we have operational security of the border?
Yeah, we knew it was a joke. I mean, we've seen record high numbers for April, May, June of the numbers coming across the southern border. It won't surprise me to see them more. But they're not even discussing, the death toll of the migrants coming across, which has been higher under this administration than under any other. They're not talking about the over 100,000 people killed by this fentanyl that we're seeing. They're not talking about the sanctity of our nation. I mean, and the cost to the taxpayers, this is what's frightening. I heard a story the other day on Fox News, and we're trying to get a little bit more information about it, where they're going to, the DHS is going to start paying $700 a night to let migrants stay in these man camps. Now, these are in West Texas. I don't know about any in New Mexico as of right now, but we're looking into it to see what is going on. But when you hear that, number one, that's our dollars. That's taxpayer dollars using to house these migrants at $700 a night. And, when you look at the big picture, I think most of those man camps, the individuals or the companies pay, I don't know, I'm guessing it's anywhere between $60 and $150 a night, depending on where they're located. So now you've got federal government, inserting themselves in private industry with our taxpayer dollars. But the cost to the American people, what it's doing, we heard just last week, the mayor of New York was saying, hey, no more. We've had 2,500 illegals come here, migrants. Our shelters are overflowing. This is putting pressure on our school system. Okay, he said 2,500. Think about New Mexico or West Texas, where they've had 100,000 people, in West Texas come across in a given month. So I'm having actually a border call this weekend with many stakeholders across the southern border, law enforcement, elected officials, those that live ranching families, the folks that live in and around the border. Even in fact, Santa Teresa has had the most activity, the most encounters in the entire El Paso sector. So it's a situation that's major and it's dire, and no one wants to talk about it because they're fine with having an open border. But we're going to have Brandon Judd on this call. He's the president of the Border Patrol Council, so he's obviously front and center, very engaged, talks to the agents all the time. He's boots on the ground. He's at these locations, and just I feel bad because I think the morale for our Border Patrol agents has to be just not great. And it's because they go to work every day to do a job they love to do, that they signed up to do, and then they get no support from neither the department, from Mayorkas, or from this administration. And then the tools they need, like Title 42 or Remain in Mexico, just get stripped away from them. It's like saying, write a report for your office, but you can't use the computer to get it out to anybody.
Right.
It's 10 steps backwards, and that's a shame. But I believe people are understanding the securing our border is paramount. It's about neighborhoods. It's about keeping our kids safe. It's about utilizing technology, more boots on the ground, deploying the National Guard, ensuring that these men and women have the tools they need to help keep us safe. And I think now that more and more people are seeing uptick in crime, even the mayor of D.C. is getting a little bit rattled about having so many migrants up here. I mean, it's starting to backfire on them because these people some of them are just living on the streets. They're like the mayor of New York said, they're overcrowding the shelters. We just don't have the bandwidth to take all these people on, and the cost is off the charts. No,
it absolutely is. We've got about 30 seconds left. Is anything else you'd like to share with us this morning, Congresswoman?
Well, I'm glad to be thinking about being home for 6 weeks to spend time with everybody, and I sure do just appreciate everybody's help and support, and we sure have a race coming on, but we have to hold on to at least one conservative seat in Washington, D.C., and we have always been just putting New Mexico first, putting people over politics, and I just got appointed to as a ranking member to the Climate Committee. It's climate and energy in an oversight, so I'm very honored to have that. It's kind of a big deal for freshmen to get that appointment, and so I've just been blessed. It's the team around me and the people around me, and I'm so blessed to do it, and still so honored, and just want to keep plugging away and doing what's right for the people of New Mexico.
Excellent. Congresswoman Yvette Herrell, thank you so much for your time. Keep up the good fight for us.
You bet, and I'll probably see you in person in the next 30 days.
That'd be great. Looking forward to it.
Good deal, team. You have a blessed day.
You too. Thank you very much. Let's 8